Today I'm going to show you how I meal prep my food for the week. So currently I'm 4 weeks and 5 days out from a bodybuilding show. So I will put a disclaimer here. No, I'm not recommending that you eat egg whites, chicken, and green beans for every meal. But for anyone that is on bodybuilding prep, I think this could be very helpful. And for anyone else just looking to save time, prepping their meals for the week, definitely have a lot of ways to help you save some time. So I do eat about 6 meals a day, and then I have like a protein shake after the gym, and some protein and fruit in the morning. So I like to prep all of my ingredients for my meals, and then I have them ready so I can just grab them out and weigh it out per meal. And then normally for the protein, I just weigh it out, like when it's time to eat it. But if I am going to be super busy, the next day I will just weigh all of that out the night prior. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So now for the food. I really like to use crock pots. Crock pots save so much time. I have 2 crock pots. So this morning at 8:30-ish, I put my chicken and my potatoes in the crock pots, and then I put it on low. So on low, it takes like 6 to 8 hours. It's been almost 7, so that will be ready now for us to use now. If you don't have crock pots, you can just use an oven. It'll take the chicken, probably take maybe 35 minutes, and you can just cook that while you're doing all of this, like we're gonna do with some of our other food here. So it would, work the same. You'll just weigh out the chicken at the end, but I do already have it ready. So if you have a crock pot, definitely recommend using it. For the potatoes, you could either use the oven as well. It would just take a little bit longer. The stove or even the microwave, you can put a couple of them in there for a few minutes. But with the crock pot, I can literally do like 4 pounds of potatoes. There's about 5 pounds of chicken tenders in there. And you just put it in, walk away from it. And later or overnight, I do that sometimes too. And they'll be ready for you in the morning. So we have that going. I also already made my vegetables, so I just buy them frozen. I use green beans for all my meals, and then one meal gets asparagus. So I put both of those in the microwave already, and they're over here. All my stuff's already ready behind me. So let's see. I also have egg whites. So I don't use whole eggs at all because I get my fat from other things, which you'll see. So I just use egg whites. That's just a personal preference, but it doesn't really matter. The way that I choose to cook my eggs is actually in a bag on the stove. I eat eggs. It ends up being 3 times a day. One of my meals just has like a tiny little bit of eggs in it. So cooking them on the pan, a lot of dishes. This, so much easier. I haven't really done my research on the plastic and the boiling water, and to be honest, I don't really want to. But I would recommend that you use like freezer bags, like thick bags, not, like the thin sandwich bags. But I don't have an issue. They don't melt or anything like that. It's totally fine. And then I need to make my cod. So we're going to be using the oven for the cod. So those are probably the first 2 things that we'll get going. And then we'll start weighing some things out here. Okay, so we're going to start with the eggs because it's actually going to take longer than the cod. Basically how I do everything is I cook everything at once. So just multitasking. We're gonna see if I can get it done in an hour. Normally, that's all it'll take. Sometimes if I have to cook like the chicken and the potatoes and the cod and the eggs right now, which we already have 2 of them ready, it'll take me like 1:15, sometimes an hour and 30 minutes, depending on how slow I'm moving. Because this gets boring sometimes, not gonna lie. But I think we can do it in an hour because we already have that prepped. So it's currently 4:15. So we'll see. My next meal's at 5:20. So hopefully I'm done before then. But first for the eggs, like I said, I cook them in a bag on the stove. So I just got this big pot of boiling water, and it's boiling behind me, and I just weigh my egg whites in a cup because I have to put them in a little baggie, so I can't really weigh them in there. So I have my cup on the scale. We're going to zero her out again, and I'm just going to pour my eggs in there. Perfect. And then right in the bag and onto the stove. And then right in the pan. I'm gonna put a second one in there at the same time. And I'm just measuring, oh my, I'm just measuring out my third portion of egg whites here. But let me just kind of go over my meals as well, because I didn't do that. So I have two like egg meals where, you know, the egg whites are my main protein. And then I also have avocado, potatoes, and green beans in there. So I already have the avocado cut open on the counter. Green beans were already cooked. Potatoes were already cooked in the slow cooker. And then I have a chicken meal, so it's chicken, potatoes, and green beans. Again, we already have all those ingredients prepped. The vegetables are super easy because it's just a couple minutes in the microwave, so it took me 10 minutes total to cook all my vegetables before this while I was getting everything set up. And then I do have a cod meal, so we're about to cook the cod in the oven. The asparagus is already ready and the potatoes are already ready. So everything's pretty simple. For fruit, I do have a little bit of banana. It's only 50 grams now. It's pretty sad. A little bit of fruit after the gym, so we're actually going to portion that out for the week as well. And then in the morning I do have some blueberries. I just get frozen. It's easier for me because they don't go bad. So we'll also portion those out in a little bit as well. I'm just going to set this one aside. I put 2 of the eggs in there together because it's the same amount in each bag, so it doesn't matter if they get mixed up or anything. You can see it's sticking out. So those are cooking right now. That's probably going to take about 15 minutes. But I can just kind of leave it there and walk away. And then I'm just going to leave this on the counter so I can plop it in there once those are done. And we're going to portion out the cod. So I just weigh it on a paper plate. So I'm just going to put that on the scale. Let's get rid of this. And so I do already have some cod prepped in the fridge, so I'm only going to be making 2 days worth of cod or 2 meals worth of cod, unless there's enough for 3 in here. There just might be. So we're going to see. I've been weighing my cod raw. We're going to experiment together because I've been weighing it raw, so it's been 175 grams raw. Obviously it shrinks when it cooks. Yeah? Okay. Obviously it shrinks when it cooks. Okay. She's telling you about how she ate my cod off of the oven last night. Yeah. I prepped 3 meals worth of cod and she ate 2 of them. So. That was fun. But as I was saying, it obviously shrinks and it's a different amount every time. So I'm going to measure out each of these pieces when it comes out of the oven, and if I have any left over, I'm going to use it to at least make them even. I know how much I ate yesterday and how much I have prepped in there, so I'm going to try and make these the same as those because 4 weeks out I don't need to be eating different amounts of food every day. Let's see. Just gonna, okay, I also have my pan prepped right here, so I'm just going to put the cod on here once I have it measured out. Ooh, I don't know if I have enough for 3. Let's see. I hate touching raw fish. Okay, so I have not preheated the oven, so I'm gonna set this aside and preheat the oven. I just put it on broil, and it really only takes a few minutes. I'm just gonna rinse off my hands and clean this up, and then we're gonna start weighing out some of our meals. Okay, so cleaned that up and got my bananas out and just some little Ziploc baggies, because I'm going to be portioning out my bananas for the week. So right after my workout, I have just some protein powder and water and 50 grams of banana right now. So like I said, I'm just going to be weighing out the banana while the cod and the eggs cook. I'm about to check on those. I know they still have a couple minutes, but I'm going to throw this in the oven because it's probably preheated. So I put that on the top shelf, and I'm going to set a timer. I normally go by just looking at it, but I'm going to put 12 minutes because that's normally about how long it takes. And oh yeah, those are not done yet. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this on the scale and zero it out. And 50 grams is like half of a small banana. So let's see. So I'm just gonna call it there. I got 5 days worth here, so that's good enough. Okay, so put all my bananas away and I got everything out for my first meal. I also checked on the stuff in the crock pot and I shut the potatoes off. They're perfect. And the chicken, I just mixed it up a little bit. When you cook it in the crock pot, it like falls right apart. So since there's so much in there, I just felt like there was a little bit in the middle that could get cooked a little bit more. So I'm gonna give that a few more minutes while we're doing this. But I also forgot to mention that like for the potatoes and for the chicken, when I cook a bunch of it like that, I don't season it or anything. I literally just throw it in there and cook it. So it saves me a bunch of time, but it also makes it super versatile. So I'm on prep right now, so I'm not putting anything crazy on any of my meals. But you know, if any of you at home want to do like cheese on one, barbecue sauce on another, like whatever, you can customize, you know, each meal. Or you can go ahead and just season the whole thing, put whatever you want on it, make it taste good, and then you'll have a bunch prepped. Kind of all up to you, but I just figured I'd throw that out there. But let's get on to my first meal. So this one's a little random, but the macros, great, and it tastes really good. So let's zero out the scale here. And first I'm gonna put some blueberries in there. I might need to open up a second bag of blueberries, but let's see. I think we're good. Yeah. Okay. So 105 grams of blueberries in there. And then some yogurt. So I use the Oikos 000. Yes, this is the salted caramel flavor, and I'm putting it in there. This is my favorite flavor. But you can use any flavor. So I'm not even going to end up using this whole thing of yogurt. So some of it's going back in the fridge. But and then protein powder. So for protein powder, you can use whatever flavor to make this taste however you want. But I use unflavored for everything. There's no artificial sweeteners, none of that in there. It's literally just protein. So I go with the Isopure. And I'm going to go ahead and add this in there. Then the last thing is almonds. So I don't weigh them on here. I weigh them on a napkin because sometimes I use like the sliced almonds. It doesn't even like to register when there's not that many. So and I just honestly put this in the fridge just like this because those blueberries are frozen, so by the morning they'll be melted and then it'll kind of mix with the protein powder and everything. I'll just mix it all together in the morning. So I just do like this and put this in the fridge. I'm only making one of these. This is super quick, as you saw, to just make in the morning or the night before. I don't normally prep a bunch of these and leave them in the fridge unless I'm going to be like super busy. This is probably the only meal that I will make the day of or just the night prior. So I'm going to go ahead and put this away, and then we're going to check on the eggs and the cod. Okay, so I went ahead and I put away everything from that first meal. I checked on the chicken in the crock pot. It's perfect, so I shut that off, and that's all ready for us. The timer went off on the cod. That looked just about done, so I shut the timer and the oven off, and we're going to pull that out in just a minute. The eggs are also almost done. So while we're waiting for those, we're just going to measure out everything else for the cod meal here. So I pulled a couple potatoes out of the crock pot. They're just sitting on a plate, and I have the asparagus in the bag from the microwave. So we're just going to go ahead and cut that up and measure everything out. I'm like super picky with these, and I only eat the like topmost part, so I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it off and put the rest in here. Okay, so now I just need to do the potatoes, and I actually need to reference my notebook because my macros just changed again. My food went down, so I don't remember. 75 grams of potatoes. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is ready for our cod. I'm just going to set this aside and take a peek on the eggs, which I think are done. Let's see here. So I mean, as you can see, it doesn't look appetizing, but it's so easy to clean. Honestly, there's virtually no cleanup. It's just the pan with boiling water. I just throw the bags away. And you'll see after it cools off and like I dump them out, the eggs just come clean right out of the bag, so there's no waste. When I was cooking it in the pan, you know, unless you grease it a bunch, which I can't really do right now anyways, I would have to measure out like the oil that I'm using. It leaves a little bit on the pan, so you're losing some of your food. So that way I don't lose any of my protein. But while that last batch of eggs is cooking, I'm going to grab the cod out, and then we'll start measuring out our egg meals. I only have 20 minutes till I need to eat next, so let's see if we can do this. So since all of my meals are a little bit different in terms of like how much goes into it, I just label my containers. So this is going to be my last meal, so I'm going to write that on here just so I know. And then I'm going to measure my potatoes for this one. So I do remember this one is only 50 grams of potatoes. just need green beans in here. So I think I have an open egg in the fridge already, so I'm gonna grab those. And so as you can see, like having the potatoes and the green beans easily accessible, and I just have to dump them in here, saves so much time. So even if you're not measuring everything out like this beforehand, it's way easier the day of just to grab the ingredients and measure them out, as opposed to have to make everything per meal. This has been in the fridge since yesterday, so that's why it looks like this. But I'm just gonna measure out my avocado. Alright, and so this is all set now, it just needs some eggs. So I'm also just going to set this aside and grab my next container. This will be for my first meal. Well, my first like actual meal after, you know, the blueberries and the yogurt that you saw. Okay, got my first meal all set. Now I have another meal that's avocado, potato, eggs, and chicken. So I'm going to weigh out the potato and the avocado for that. Alright, so now I'm going to check on those eggs. They're just about done. I'm also thinking that I don't have my chicken meal prep that I need to eat in like 25 minutes. So instead of prepping my chicken meal for tomorrow, I'm actually just going to prep my chicken meal for tonight and just leave the ingredients prepped for tomorrow. So I'm going to get a plate for that. We're going to start that. Pink tonight. Okay. Let's see. So 50 grams of green beans. And then I have to see how many potatoes again. See, that's the thing now, like my food just keeps going down. So every week I have to keep referring to this. It's not just memorized like it was for the longest time during off season. There we go. Shit, okay, 65. I was like, what is it? I have everything on here except my chicken, so I'm just going to set this aside as well. And I'm going to put my cod in here since it's done. And I think for the other one, I'm actually just going to put it in like a little baggie for now and put that in the fridge. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this away, and then we're going to dump out the eggs into the containers and portion out the chicken, and we will be just about done. Okay, so I just shut off this stove. The last batch of eggs is all done, so I'm just going to show you really quick. I have my three, but that one also needs chicken, so that one gets some extra attention. But I have my 2 egg meals here, just so I can show you how easy it is to just dump these eggs into these containers. So I have my potatoes, green beans, and avocado all ready, and I'm just going to go ahead and dump these eggs in. and it just comes clean out. There's nothing left in here. So all the eggs that went in here are getting eaten. And it's that easy. I mean, again, do your research on the boiling plastic and let me know what you find. But look at that. Like, I mean, bodybuilding isn't the healthiest sport. I think it's okay cooking eggs like that, but I don't know. Here we go. So here's 3 meals already done, and then this is the one that we put the potatoes and the avocado in. That just gets a little bit of eggs. And then we also just need to add some chicken in here. Alrighty. So I'm just gonna go ahead and toss this and grab some of the chicken out of the crock pot so we can go ahead and measure it out in our 2 meals here. Okay, so I just got this big container here and I put some of the chicken from the crock pot in here. As you can see, it's like completely shredded. It smells super good. And I'm just gonna go ahead and weigh out the chicken that I need for this meal. And then also too, I'll show you me actually doing it in a second. But as for all of the chicken and the potatoes in the crock pots, I just like to put them in big containers like this to store it in the fridge. And normally I'll just like write the date on here as well so I know. So I'm just going to go ahead and measure this out. And this one is also all set. And then I'm just going to add the chicken for this meal that I'm about to eat in a couple minutes here. Alrighty, so I'm all set with this. I'm gonna put mustard on this meal. Normally I just put mustard on my chicken meal, so I'm gonna grab that and weigh that out because I'll have to eat in about 10 minutes. And that being said, we did it. I did prep all this food in an hour, so I'll just kind of go through and show you actually everything that we did prepare really quick after I grab this mustard. Alrighty, so I just finished putting all the chicken and potatoes from the crock pots into these containers here. Make green beans, potatoes, and chicken for the whole entire week. We also prep my bananas for almost a week, so I can just grab them and go to the gym. I have all my food measured out to the meal for tomorrow except my chicken meal, but like we said, I have my ingredients right here, and that was so easy just to measure out. Only takes about 2 minutes. So we did this in under an hour, and the only thing each day I'll actually have to cook is eggs. And like you saw, that was so easy and literally requires no cleanup. The mess that I made is the pan from the cod, the pan from the boiling water, and the crock pots, which with just the potatoes and the chicken in there, such an easy cleanup. So I definitely recommend using a crock pot if you can, or investing in one because it makes things so easy. But like I said, if not, just the oven, you know, put some tin foil, wax paper or something down on the pan, and it's also super easy. So meal prepping definitely helps if you're busy. And I hope this helped you out and gave you some ideas and inspiration to meal prep for yourself. And I almost forgot, I need to figure out how much the cod that I cooked today weighs because I want to compare. So I know this baggie weighs 3 grams, so let's put this thing on the scale. What the heck? No way. Okay, so this is like 20 grams more than the ones that I made the other day. Okay, so conclusion is I should have made the extra cod to add to those other ones. But now my question is, do you weigh your meat or fish after or before you cook it? Because for my chicken, I weigh it after, because you see how easy it is to just cook it all at once. But I've been consistent with that. But with the cod, I've been consistently weighing it before I cook it. But that also means that the amount of cod that I've been consuming is inconsistent, even though I've been weighing it. Right? I don't know. I need insight. I keep Googling this and I'm finding mixed reviews. I feel like at this point I should just keep doing what I'm doing because I'm so close to show, but I don't know. Alrighty, well, now we know. Been eating different amounts of cod every day. I can't believe this. Just found out yesterday. Anyways.